interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Have you ever wondered why the news plays the same 5 stories again and again? Let me give you a little hint. Brainwashing and repetition is the most basic form of brainwashing. Join me as we look at the news cycle and talk about why the mainstream media is so gutless and afraid to report the truth. Good day and welcome to Conspiracy News with Michael Strange. This is the show where we talk about the news, and of course this show came from the other show, Troubled Minds, and there was a lot more to talk about than just the aliens, conspiracy, and the paranormal that we normally talk about. The news segment got longer and longer, and so here we are doing an entirely other show. We're winding this season down of season 1 of Conspiracy News. So this is episode 47. So we're going to do 47 and 48 today and tomorrow. And then the same next week. We'll do it on Sunday and Monday again and make it 49 and 50. And then we'll take a couple, 3 weeks off from Conspiracy News. So just to give me some time to kind of catch things up. And yeah, a lot of things to juggle. Okay, so that's what's going on with this show. But this show is about the conspiracy that is the news. It is all of those things that it's propaganda, that is PR firms trying to say some BS that isn't true. And, that's really what this is about. And, some of the news that is actual news that doesn't really get pushed to the top of the news cycle because, of course, you can't politicize it. You can't turn it into this or that and into a cudgel to make you hate your neighbor, and so they don't touch it, right? So our mainstream media today is all brainwash all the time, all hatred, all division, and all politics, and that's just how they do it, right? Because, well, if they can divide us so that we hate each other, then we don't collectively ask them for change and reform, and that's the goal, that's the strategy, and they're winning, guys. So we need to step it up and get off of this political train. It's stupid. It's pointless. It's like one side is not better than the other. They're working with each other, and to keep us from having a say in the government, and that's what this show's about. All of those things combined, and yeah. And did I mention we record this live? So if you want to be part of the show today at any time, just pick up the phone and give us a call. Old school phone number, we do it like this: 702-957-1037. One more time, 702-957-1037. 1037. Troubledminds.org is the official website, and you can click the Discord link and be on the show that way as well. And when you join the Discord, just jump in the caller queue and type in the chat. Let me know that you're there, and we'll put you on the show. All right, let us begin, shall we? Let us start with this. Let's start with this. What the hell's going on out there? Space.com reports this. Mysterious stripes spotted over Russia in satellite images, and NASA is perplexed. Scientists can't agree on why these hills in the Russian Arctic ripple with stripes. And let's see if I can get this to a full screen. Image in the new tab. Make this big. There we go. That's what that looks like. All right, so we have these hills in the Arctic, in the Russian Arctic, and they have these bizarre stripes on them. Ripples. What are they called? Ripples and stripes. So there we go. There's the photograph right there. Over on the left side, you can see striped pattern of cliff and bench topography. And what the hell is this? This looks like some of the stuff we saw on Mars recently. Interesting. Anyway, let's read some of this. Near the Marka River in Arctic Siberia, the Earth ripples in ways that scientists don't fully understand. Earlier this week, NASA researchers posted a series of satellite images on the peculiar wrinkled landscape to the agency's Earth Observatory website. Taken with the Landsat 8 satellite over several years, the photos show the land on both sides of the Marka River rippling with alternating dark and light stripes. The puzzling effect is visible in all 4 seasons, but it is most pronounced in winter, when white snow makes the contrasting pattern even more stark. Now, why is this particular section of Siberia so stripy? Scientists aren't totally sure. Dun, dun, dun. And several experts offered NASA conflicting explanations. One possible explanation is written in the icy ground. The region of the Central Siberian Plateau stands about 90% of the year covered in permafrost, according to NASA, though it occasionally thaws for brief intervals. Patches of land that continuously freeze, thaw, and freeze again have been known to take on strange circular or stripy designs called patterned ground. Scientists reported in a study published in January 2003 in the journal Science. The effect occurs when soils and stones naturally sort themselves during the freeze-thaw cycle. And here's some different stripes over this Siberian plateau where you see in the summer, the fall, and the winter. They're right there. Let's actually full screen that so you can see what I'm talking about. And how they look, I don't know, a little bit different. But anyway, here we go. However, other examples of pattern ground, such as the stone circles of Svalbard, Norway, tend to be much smaller in scale than the stripes seen in Siberia. Another possible explanation is erosion. Thomas Crawford, a geologist with the U.S. Geological Survey, told NASA that the stripes resemble a pattern in sedimentary rocks known as layer cake geology. Did somebody say cake? Did somebody say cake? These patterns occur when snowmelt or rain trickles downhill, chipping and fleshing pieces of sedimentary rock into piles. The process can reveal slabs of sediment that look like slices of layer cake, Crawford said, with the darker stripes representing steeper areas and the lighter stripes signifying flatter areas. So, yeah. There we go. Some weird stuff happening in Russia. Going to full screen this one more time so you can see what the heck is going on. And here's the full actual yeah, right. See, I want cake too. Cake, ripple cake. So this is there's the link I just dropped if you guys want a direct link to the photograph, and this is what it looks like. Weird stuff, and scientists can't agree. And so I guess we have no scientific consensus regarding this. Funny. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Anyway, here we go. This is from CNN. And CNN is the most trusted source in news, as we know. So, let's go to this. Let's go to the World Wide Web as we know it may be ending. Shout out to Mr. Ark for sending me this article. Also, guys, if you want to send me articles that we talk about on this show, I save them up, of course, because, you find a good one, you pull it out, you drop it in a bucket, and then pull it out later. So it's no problem. Just go to Discord and just drop it in the conspiracy news links, and I'll pull them out of there. And we'll talk about the ones you want to talk about. And again, like I said, transparency, an important thing. 702-957-1037. You want to be part of the show today? You can. And join the Discord, troubledminds.org, the official website. Click the Discord link. And then if you want to, as you find sweet news articles you think would fit the theme of the conspiracy news show, just drop them in the little Discord bucket called Conspiracy News Links, and we'll put them on the show. Simple as that. Let's go to this. CNN, the most trusted source in news. Over the last year, the World Wide Web has started to look less worldwide. Oh, the headline. The World Wide Web as we know it may be ending. Europe is floating a regulation that could impose temporary bans on U.S. tech companies that violate its laws. The United States was on the verge of banning TikTok and WeChat, though the new Biden administration is rethinking that move. Figure that. Weird, right? Weird. Anyway, India, which did ban those two apps as well as dozens of others, is now at loggerheads with Twitter. And this month, Facebook clashed with the Australian government over a proposed law that would require it to pay publishers. The company briefly decided to prevent users from sharing news links in the country in response to the law. with the potential to drastically change how its platform functions from one country to the next. Then on Tuesday, it reached a deal with the government and agreed to restore news pages. The deal partially relaxed arbitration requirements that Facebook took issue with. All right, so as we get governments the world over standing up to these tech giants, what would you call them? Tech assholes, technocratic assholes. As governments start standing up and saying, "Hey, no, look, you do not run this country. I'm sorry, Facebook, sorry, Amazon, sorry, Google, whoever it happens to be. We're going to start getting this." And so, as we've talked about in the past, this is called a Splinternet. A Splinternet, very much how China does its great firewall of China, right? So they keep a lot of United States and just Western world stuff out of China because they don't want their people brainwashed. You get that? China only wants their people brainwashed in a very particular sort of way, very particular, and so they don't stand for other sorts of brainwash except for the CCP's version. And so as a result, so China can do it. Russia's talked about doing it. Russia in recent years, I think in the past 1 year, maybe 6-8 months ago, we talked about an article where Russia actually has a switch now to take their entire internet off of the web, off the World Wide Web, so that it will turn into an intranet, like a Russian intranet. So there's a lot of this going on, right? This Splinternet stuff. And now we have governments the world over kind of standing up against particular tech platforms, as I think they should. But when you're talking about you've allowed these tech platforms to become so ubiquitous in people's lives with the generic ways they communicate, that this is not good. This is not good. Once you start fracturing all this up into a bunch of different little pieces, then what? Like, well, if you're in Spain, you can use Twitter, but if you're in Germany, you can use WeChat or whatever the hell it is. I don't know, but it's just weird. Like, this is weird. This stuff is happening here. So in its announcement in the deal, however, Facebook hinted at the possibility of similar clashes in the future. Quote, "We'll continue to invest in news globally and resist efforts by media conglomerates to advance regulatory frameworks that do not take account of the value exchange between publishers and platforms like Facebook." Oh, they're a platform now. I see. Is that what it is? Weird. And yet they can editorialize people's posts with fact checks and things. That's weird. That's a weird distinction. Anyway, said Campbell Brown, the VP of Global News Partnerships at Facebook, in a statement Tuesday. But as such territorial agreements become more common, the globally connected internet we know will become more like what some have dubbed the Splinternet, like I said, or a collection of different internets whose limits are determined by national or regional borders. And they did this actually with, I don't know if anybody remembers, as some of you know, I'm a poker player. I played online for quite some time. And was actually doing really well with it. And at some point, what the hell was the year? Back in whatever year, they just broke it all up. The DOJ and the Bush W administration moved in and seized Poker Stars and Full Tilt Poker, and they basically ran people off. They took a bunch of money, and then they didn't allow this to happen. These poker sites to run in the country. So these sites, of course, moved overseas, and they were fine in Europe and other places. But for a very, very, very long time, you couldn't even play online poker in the United States legally. So, well, I moved to Vegas, but then I didn't even do a lot of poker once I got here. So maybe I should just move to Mars, hang out with Ash. Anyway, so point being that this here is, and that the Full Tilt, the poker thing it's a version of that Splinternet already that happened years ago. There's a thing in poker called Black Friday, and it was the day they moved in and seized all these the assets of these poker sites and shut down the websites themselves. If you went to the actual websites at the time, it was funny. I mean, it was less funny when you had money on these sites, but there actually was a FBI seizure notice instead of you went to fulltiltpoker.net or fulltilt.net, whatever it was called back then, and it had like a FBI seizure notice instead of the website. Anyway, so this is not new. Like, these things are not new when a government step in and say, "Oh no, you can't. Oh no, you don't." And this is one of them. And if they continue to do it for these huge platforms, and see, that's the problem, right? So, you know me, in many cases, I'm not in favor of extra, like just kind of frivolous, stupid regulation to just slap on top and say, look, we did something, you know? Like if you're going to do any sort of regulation, like make it work, make it succinct, make it not be a bunch of bloated crap you throw in there just because you did a bill, you know? But that's the way our Congress works. And here we are as a result of that, just losing more and more every day because they suck. But I digress. Anyway, so what do you guys think about this? The World Wide Web may be ending as we know it. It's the end of the web as we know it. And do you feel fine? Love to hear from you. This is Conspiracy News with Michael Strange. We're just kicking it, talking about the news and doing what we do. And otherwise, let's hear a word from our sponsor, which is you.
Are you digging the show? If so, you can support us quite easily and at no additional cost to you if you already have an Amazon Prime account. Since we stream on Twitch every day, all you have to do is link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and they give you free games on a monthly basis for your personal use, and also a bonus $5 a month to send to your favorite streamer as a way to bring more people to Twitch. And all you have to do is sync up to 2 accounts and click subscribe. Thanks for considering us.
All right, let's go to theeconomist.com. This is dusting the upper atmosphere could help counter climate change. You guys know how I feel about this. I rage quite a lot with this type of stuff because clearly, there's that whole complexity theory on how we don't really know 100% of the information we need to know exactly what's happening with the climate at all times. But the hubris of mankind and science in particular areas of the world, they think they know better. They think they know better than Mother Nature. And this is the type of stuff that is going to be the end of humanity. You'll see. Like they keep saying climate change is this existential threat and we have to dust the upper atmosphere with particulates. Well, check this out. An experiment to test the idea could soon start in Sweden. If all goes well, oh sweet, this is paywalled. I didn't even realize it. If all goes well, a balloon will soon rise from Esrange Space Center in Kiruna, Sweden. It will drift high into the upper atmosphere where nothing will happen. The balloon will then return to Earth. Nevertheless, a collection of environmental groups, including the Swedish branches of government, of Greenpeace and Friends of the Earth and the Center of International Environment Law, is trying to stop it. The campaigners are against the flight because of what comes next. The balloon is a test flight for something called the Stratospheric Controlled Perturbation Experiment, or SCOPE-X, which is being run by the University of Harvard. Hi, Harvard. We're watching you. The idea is that a future flight will release a small amount of calcium carbonate dust into the stratosphere in order to help researchers learn more about solar geoengineering. How could this go wrong? We have to file this under how could this go wrong? Everybody, anybody out there lived through the cold snap of 2021? We got a once in a generation event. They say that happened last year with COVID. We got a once in a generation event that happened this year with the entire South Midwest just getting blasted with a frozen sting and basically destroying that energy grid and causing all kinds of problems. So did we see any of those things coming? No, of course not. So, but for some reason, we somehow think that right here, in this case, that, we know better. And I don't think we know better. I think that these assholes from Harvard need to back the F off and stop doing this stuff. Look, if we start roasting and the oceans start boiling, by all means, throw that shit up there and just fix it, right? It shouldn't take that long, right? I mean, come on, let's be real. But what, really? I mean, really? This is what we're talking about now. This is just dumb. This is just dumb. Anyway, you guys know how I feel about this. It does not make me happy, and this is one of the things we need to rage hard against. I think pretty much no matter what side of the aisle you're on, it doesn't matter. Like, again, politics in so many cases just don't frickin' matter because they try and politicize issues like this. But look, we're literally talking about changing the entire scope of how our weather system works with just a partial percentage of the knowledge we need to know to even attempt to do so. You see? This is not good. This is not good. What's up, Quint? Thanks for showing up. Thanks for the sub there. I just don't know. This stuff is weird. Quint says, just like when Big Corp bought MTV and turned it into crap. So goes the internet. Yes. Yes, exactly like that. What does anybody watch MTV anymore? What the hell's on MTV? Are they still on? Are they still on? I guess they're still on. Yeah, back in the day, they used to actually play music videos, and just music videos. And then they started with that weird reality TV crap that took everything over. But anyway, you turn into the Kardashians. Anybody watch the Kardashians out there? What's going on in the Kardashians world? No, I'm just kidding. I don't give a shit. All right, here we go. Let's go to this. Now, this is a little bit weird. We've talked about this in the past. This is a YouTube video, so let's just play part of this. This is, again, from Mr. Ark. He dropped this in the conspiracy news links, and this is, again, you can do that too. I'll go onto Discord, drop in the conspiracy news links. Oh, Robert, by the way, I didn't get a chance to check out your book. I will. If I have a separate account for Amazon for Troubled Minds, so I'll hop over there and check it out if you sent me that book. Robert here wrote a book, Quint67, and I'll link it to this show as well, so that you guys can help a fellow artist out here. He's trying to sell some books, and every time he shows up in the chat, he's writing some good stuff in the chat. So clearly, he's a writer. He's a poet. Good stuff. What's up? No videos. No videos, says Jay. What's up? What's up, guys? Let's see. All right. No, we're playing some videos. We're going to play some videos. This is about the former CIA agent was a victim of the microwave weapon in Moscow. Let's play it.
I woke up in the middle of the night with an incredible case of vertigo. The room was spinning. I wanted to throw up.
Mark Polymeropoulos, a former U.S. intelligence officer at the CIA, was hit in 2017 by an invisible attack in a Moscow hotel.
I'd been in places like Iraq and Afghanistan. I'd been shot at, but this was by far the most terrifying experience of my life.
It's a mystery that's plagued the U.S. intelligence community and the State Department for years. An attack which brain experts now say was likely the result of a microwave weapon, hitting American personnel in Cuba, China, Russia, and other places around the globe. The U.S. government has not identified the perpetrator, but current and former U.S. officials believe Russia is to blame. The Russian government did not respond to CNN's request for comment. The attack impacted his balance, sight, and hearing. The pain has never wholly subsided.
I couldn't, make it through the day, not even close. I've had a headache every day since that night in Moscow. It's never gone away, day and night.
He had to retire early, and for a dedicated CIA officer who spent his entire career fighting terrorists in the Middle East, it hasn't been easy to accept that an invisible strike took him out of the game.
I rather would have been shot. This was a silent wound.
You would have rather been shot?
Absolutely.
Why?
Well, it's something that I could have shown people. I had a really hard time initially at the agency because people didn't necessarily, the senior medical staff didn't necessarily believe me.
Polymeropoulos had to fight to get expert health care. Just this month, he finished specialized treatment at Walter Reed Medical Center, more than 3 years after that traumatic night in Moscow.
When they provided me the piece of paper with the diagnosis that said I had a traumatic brain injury, I had tears in my eyes.
Some 40 U.S. government officials have experienced symptoms similar to his. In 2017, the U.S. Embassy in Cuba slashed its staff because the attacks were so pervasive.
All right, so yeah, this started in Cuba, if you guys remember, where we had they first thought. Remember this? They first thought it was some sort of subsonic audio type weapon going on, and then stupidly somebody had debunked it as crickets. Or something like this. We talked about this on Troubled Minds when this went down, but this is a little bit stupid, right? Like, okay, so it was not some sort of like audio weapon. It was not crickets for sure. But instead, we have this. It's some sort of microwave weapon, right? And so it is what do they say? A quiet weapon for a quiet war? Is that what they say? I'm not sure if that means exactly this, but it sure seems like this, doesn't it? It's definitely like a, forgive me, but silent but deadly. You can catch my meaning there. But I don't know. This is terrifying because if they're doing it to people in embassies, right? Again, started with the Cuban embassy, then it happened in China, and then it happened in Russia now. And so it's happening all over the place. And they're saying that they have no idea where it's coming from. Like they think they've narrowed it down to Russia. So explain to me this, right? You have these localized things happening. You can tell exactly where they went down. And in many cases, it was in embassies. And then they had, what else did they have? They had, they have these symptoms, right? That would happen to Canadians and Americans and, people from the West. And I don't know. I don't know. It seems difficult to understand that we knew at some point this was happening and then we didn't have some sort of tests happening at our embassies to kind of counter some of these things, like some sort of audio capture device that would be able to tell if it was an audio weapon or some sort of microwave detector or something. You know what I mean? It just seems weird to me that after this continues to happen, what they say, over 40 people affected by this, and again, in some cases, may never recover. This guy says every single day he's had a headache since this happened. It just hasn't stopped. And so he looks normal, right? Like you're sitting there talking to him, but he's wrecked. His life is ruined. And so as a result of this, think about that. You could have a silent weapon, and who knows what the range of this thing is or how big of an area you could hit at the same time. You could destroy an entire population easily with something like this before they even knew it. Before people started having symptoms and throwing up and all this other stuff that was happening, we wouldn't even know. It would be way too late. It's way too late by then. And then what? And then we start nuking each other? I don't know. People are stupid, so that seems like things that would happen. But anyway, here we go. So this, let's play the last half of this. But scary stuff, right? He says, I'd rather have been shot, because then he can show the wound to people. And, it will heal normally and naturally if he survives it, with some surgery if necessary. You know how these things work. But in this case, he doesn't even know if he's ever going to recover. He's going to be screwed for his whole life. I mean, I've had a headache here or there. I don't get them often, thankfully, but when I do, they're crippling. So imagine every single damn day of your life. That's just nuts. Here we go. Let's finish this up. Still talking about these microwave weapons. They say possibly originated from Russia. Here we go. Part 2, the CNN video action.
Newly declassified State Department report points to systemic disorganization when the department began handling this crisis during the Trump administration. New Hampshire Senator Jeanne Shaheen has been fighting to get the victims medical assistance and answers about who did this.
If we don't hold those responsible accountable, then we can be sure it's going to continue to happen. And that's a national security risk to the United States and to our personnel.
According to U.S. intelligence documents obtained by CNN, Russia has been developing this microwave attack capability for decades. Today, Bill Burns, President Biden's nominee to lead the CIA, telling Congress,
I will have no higher priority than taking care of people, of colleagues and their families. I will make it an extraordinarily high priority to get to the bottom of who's responsible for the attacks.
Paul Meropoulos created a Superman mask in art therapy, thrusting a dagger through Superman's skull to represent the headaches which have changed him. The CIA agency seal cracked. His family was emotional when he showed them his project.
My son and my daughter both said to me, Dad, you're still my Superman.
Before the attack happened, how would you describe your relationship with the agency in, 1 or 2 words?
It's a love affair.
And after?
A divorce, with perhaps some reconciliation in the future, I would hope.
Wow. Okay. So we're going to kill that. It goes on for another minute or so, but you see, there's some scary stuff here that's happening out there in the world, and does it get some press? Sure. That was on CNN. Is it top of the headlines? No, never. But this is again, who knows what the scope of the scale and scope of this microwave type weapon actually is and can become. Nobody really knows, at least not that they're telling us, and so I think that's part of the problem here, right? We end up with a weapon that's terrifying. That's a silent weapon for silent wars, and we are kind of at its mercy as they decide to deploy these or not. And we've seen some stuff like this, some crowd control weapons where they have like the really low level microwaves that kind of make your skin feel hot, and they're supposed to be non-lethal, but they can disperse crowds. Stuff like this. We actually played some of those YouTube videos on Troubled Minds a while back, and we got taken down off the internet for it. Which is hilarious because those videos are up on YouTube right now. So I mean, it's just weird, right? They're like, well, if you're going to watch it, you have to watch it through us. You can't have other people have commentary about it. So anyway, yeah, that kind of tells you what you need to know about this, other than maybe we know, maybe we already do know. I find it hard to believe that we haven't tested microwave weapons, with all the MK Ultra and stupid stuff that the United States government has done, that we haven't tested things like this and are familiar with things like this, But anyway, whatever. What do I know? I'm just a knucklehead on the internet with a microphone. What do you guys think about this? Silent weapons for silent wars, this microwave stuff, the CIA guy that said he's got a headache every day of his life. He doesn't know if it'll ever go away. Yeah, it's terrible. It's not good. This is not good stuff. I'd love to hear what you guys think. 702-957-1037. One more time. 702-957-1037. TroubledMinds.org is the official website. You can join the Discord and be on the show that way. And we're going to keep on moving here. Actually, where are we at? Are we just in time? I think we're just in time. Let's do a quick commercial break, and you guys know how those go when it's live. It's almost like they didn't happen, right? It's almost like they didn't happen. So let's go to this. You're listening to Conspiracy News with Michael Strange, and we will be right back. All right, welcome back to Conspiracy News. Let's continue, shall we? Let's go to this. This is from inputmag.com, and this has been going around the internet, and this one is terrifying as well. Terrifying as well. If you guys haven't seen this, this is where the deep fake technology is heading. You guys seen this Tom Cruise video? Check this out. Deep fake videos of Tom Cruise show the technology's threat to society is very real. Here we go. New deepfake videos of actor Tom Cruise have made their way onto TikTok under the handle @DeepTomCruise. And boy, do they look real. They're so realistic, in fact, it's possible that you wouldn't even know they're computer generated had you not been alerted by the account's handle. And they were made using not much more than the same footage of Cruise and deepfake technology that's getting easier for everyone to use. Not even 2 years ago, it would have been easy to differentiate between real and AI-generated video of somebody, but the technology is advancing so rapidly that we've reached a point of escape velocity, and it's obvious that deepfakery isn't going to be used just for innocent purposes like animating pictures of your past relatives. So, good Lord. But anyway, check this out. This is from that TikTok, and this is Tom Cruise. All right, and he's making Tom Cruise making a TikTok video. Right, as ridiculous as that might sound, but watch what they did with this. Now, I'll explain in a sec. Here we go. Let's just watch this.
I'm going to show you some magic. It's the real thing. I mean, it's all the real thing.
All right, so what do you guys think? If you're listening to audio only, what did you think? Did that sound like Tom Cruise? If you're watching the video there, did it look like Tom Cruise? You notice how they captured his weirdo, like, megalomaniac facial features and the way he laughs at himself and all of that weird Tom Cruise stuff he does? Yeah, it's in here. It's built in. And we actually, as early as maybe a couple years ago even, we were watching some of these, deep fake videos that have gone viral in the past. And this in particular, this is a little bit terrifying because, aside from maybe a couple frames here or there that are maybe his voice doesn't match his lips exactly. If you weren't paying close attention, and knew to look for a deep fake, you may not even notice the difference now. This is crazy. Now, of course, the difference between this and everything else, with Tom Cruise in particular, he's probably one of the most filmed persons in the history of filming. Right? He's been in an unbelievable amount of movies. And so there's a ton of footage. And the way they do this stuff is they get the more footage you have of somebody's face, the more you can pour this into a computer. So the algorithms can figure out exactly what the hell Tom Cruise is supposed to look like and be like. And then you have somebody that kind of has his similar build. And then you have them talk and act like Tom Cruise. And then bam. The computer does the rest, and this is what you get. Has anybody out there seen this? And there's another one where he's playing golf, and let's see. Where is it? Where is it? Let's see. Oh, here's another one. Let's play a couple of these. This is him playing golf. Here we go. More Tom Cruise deepfakes. Again, look very closely. Listen very closely. If I wasn't tipping you off and you didn't know that this was a fake before you saw it, would you believe it's a fake? Here we go, part 2.
What's up, TikTok? You guys cool if I play some sports? I love it. more for the audio experience. As much as the momentum. Hey, listen up, sports and TikTok fans. If you like what you're seeing, just wait till what's coming next.
See, they even got the weirdo Tom Cruise stuff. The weirdo Tom Cruise stuff. Anyway, there's a third one. I'm not going to play all three. You guys can go find them out if you want. But I mean, check this stuff out. This is creepy, right? This is pretty damn creepy. And so so it remains to be seen that this is terrifying for a number of reasons. That, you know, for instance, I don't know, people on the internet that have, you know, a lot of voice footage that they've put out there. They have their face over, you know, multiple dozens or hundreds of videos. So I don't know, who might I be talking about? Maybe me, right? Or basically anybody on YouTube. I mean, that means you could fake anybody, right? You get enough footage from these people, from whoever, you feed it into these computers, and this is the type of fake you can make. So we are moving into really, really scary times because, you know, I can actually see a future where somebody is fooled and thinks that a president of a particular country is attacking another country based on a deep fake. So the good news is, now, of course, now, I don't know if this is good news, but the Counter.social flagged this video as with its deep fake detector. So now the arms war begins, right? The tech war begins with all these different tech companies trying to put in their deep fake detectors built into their algorithms so that they can't get fooled, right? But of course, like every algorithm, they're exploitable. Like every tech war. Who knows? Like, who knows what at what point the new versions of the deep fakes outsmart the old versions of the deep fake detectors. You see, there's a sliver of calamity in there that if we don't, I don't know. And you know, people are sick. People just want to watch it burn sometimes. And so, just who knows? I mean, if you pull out like a president, for instance, like imagine now all the footage of Trump, right? Like, or Biden or any president of the world, basically, you can find an unbelievable amount of footage of them speaking and them on camera. It's just part of what it is. And so now if we start faking actual world leaders, we can't believe shit anymore is what I'm basically trying to say here. Like, you have to have I guess this is what'll happen, right? You're going to have exactly perfectly vetted sources, like, you know what I mean? So I may have to say, look, entirely, guys, 100%, if you see a video of me anywhere except on these three channels, it's not real. It's not real, because the only things that come from my mouth are posted to these three vetted channels. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to have like another version of the Splinternet, as it were, the verified and the unverified, right? So I don't know. Scary stuff, right? Scary stuff. This is pretty. The implications here are large, and these videos are convincing. And again, you know, they have a lot of footage of Tom Cruise, but you know, they have a lot of footage of a lot of people. So I think that's what we're talking about. Anyway, what do you guys think about this? Love to hear from you. 702-957-1037. Do you think they got the weird Tom Cruise tics? I thought that weird hand gesture and his, like, you know, like super snappy presence and his huge ego oozed through. I think they nailed it. But love to hear what you guys think. Troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Hop in here. And do you think this is fine? We're all fine here now, right? There's no problems. We're all fine here now. There's no reason to really be worried about any of this, right? No problem. No problem. All right, let's go to this. This is TechDirt. TechDirt.com is a fantastic website. Check them out. This is where a lot of information gets posted that doesn't get a lot of credit. One of those actual journalistic type sites, you know what I'm saying? Where they don't try and politicize everything. Well, it's becoming more and more rare, but that's why I'm using them more and more, because it's harder and harder to find this stuff. But anyway, check this out. Headline is this from TechDirt. Fifth Circuit says tasing a person soaked in gasoline and setting them on fire isn't an unreasonable use of force. Weird. Weird. So here's where we're at in the Fifth Circuit. The cops can literally set a person on fire and walk away from it. Judge Don Willett's incendiary comments opposing qualified immunity notwithstanding, civil rights litigation still remains a sucker bet on the Fifth Circuit, where cops are granted judicial forgiveness more frequently than they are in any other judicial court circuit. Here's the latest depressing read from the appeals court, which can't talk itself into removing this shield from officers who tased a suicidal man after he covered himself in gasoline, turning a potential suicide into an actual homicide. Some cops seem to feel suicide threats should be converted into self-fulfilling prophecies. The cops involved here, all Arlington, Texas police officers, turned a distress call from a family member into the very thing the family members were hoping to prevent. From the opinion in the PDF here, it says, on July 10th, 2017, Gabriel Anthony Olivas called 911 and reported that his father was threatening to kill himself and burn down their house. Corporal Ray, Sergeant Jefferson, and Officer Scott Elliott and Guadarrama of the Arlington Police Department responded. Behold the thin blue line that stands between suicide and threats to burn a house down. Guadarrama and Elliott, at least, and maybe Jefferson as well, noticed that Olivas was holding some object that appeared as though it might be a lighter. Guadarrama, followed in short succession by Jefferson, fired his taser at the gasoline-soaked man, causing him to burst into flames. Corporal Ray and Officer Scott arrived at the scene about this time. When they entered the house, they found Olivas engulfed in flames. The fire spread from Olivas to the walls of the bedroom, and the house eventually burned to the ground. The officers at the scene were able to evacuate the family members who had remained in the house, but Olivas was badly burned and later died from his injuries. Horrific. This is terrible stuff. Again, we talk about it often on this show about just mental health. It's one of those things that's, the silent killer. It's, a lot of people are struggling out there, and they don't, many other people don't know they're even struggling. It's real. This stuff is real. And, as part of the society we live in, the social media, the people framing their lives as perfect on social media, that's faking it, basically a deep fake of their life on social media to depress other people, right? This stuff all plays. It all plays, and it's sick. It's sick. And this in particular, I mean, I don't know, right? Like, should cops be given the benefit of the doubt? I mean, should they have known he was doused in gasoline? I don't know. Like, there's a ton of information here to think about, to talk about, as always, which is why we do. But weird that I don't know. I mean, you literally just can't go around busting every cop that ends up in an altercation or in some tragedy. I mean, I guess you could, but then there wouldn't be anybody that would be cops, right? Because they're like, well, you're not going to help us out when a sketchy situation happens and you have a split second to react. Then we're not going to be cops, like people will start doing other things. And I don't blame them, actually. As you recall, when I was a young man, I wanted to be a cop. And so I do know a lot. I do know a lot of police officers. I've spent my life around a lot of police officers, and so they're not monsters, people. They're not, like any other subsection of or group of people, professions or what have you. I'm not talking about racial or any of this other stuff. Just like any other group of people, there's good people and there's bad people. There's good cops and there's bad cops, and some are lazy, right? And some are stupid. Some have complexes, authority complexes, but some are like really, really good people that are just trying to do their best out there to help their societies. So again, difficult situations here, tragic nonetheless, no matter what happens when things like this go down this way. What can you do? But instead of politicizing this and trying to shit on all the cops, just like shitting on all the any other group of people is horrible. I was looking into some of the critical race theory here, and they're just talking about basically that the KKK is the cops, stuff like this, and I'm just like, really? Like, sure, this will go well. Like this will end well. Anyway, what do you guys think about this? Do you think cops should be given the benefit of the doubt in coin flip type situations? I hate to say it that way, but when you're talking about split seconds of changing the thing for the better or worse, hindsight is 20/20, and in many cases, you can't win. You can't win if you're in that spot. Here we go. From if you want to be a part of the show, 702-957-1037, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link, and you can be part of the show. What do you think about this? The cop stuff. Do you think this should be politicized? Defund the police? F the police? This whole thing. I mean, you tell me, right? You tell me. I don't know. Let's see. Here we go. Link in this. Going to keep on trucking. All right. This is from RT, which, of course, is Russia Today, which is Russian propaganda. But this is interesting. Facebook bans Myanmar military accounts with immediate effect over coup. Now, oddly enough, Facebook finally steps up and starts banning the actual social media accounts of the military people who are actually perpetuating the Myanmar coup, like an actual coup, not like the January 6th, not that, like an actual coup, right? Again, it's very, very important to make the distinction that one's a coup when the military takes over, and when the other thing happens and that's not a coup. I'm sorry. It's just not. It was not armed. It was not an armed insurrection. All the rest of this stuff. I've even seen CNN now talking about, they're like, well, they had, in some cases, they picked up chairs and were swinging them, and that's being armed, and now you can say it's an armed insurrection. Okay. Anyway, Facebook announced in a blog post on Thursday that it has removed Instagram and Facebook accounts used by Myanmar's military to communicate with the public in the wake of a coup by the armed forces in the Asian nation. The social media company said it was left with no choice but to ban the accounts following the deadly violence in the country after the coup, believing that it was too risky to allow the Myanmar military known as the Tatmadaw to continue on its platforms. Facebook will also remove and prevent all Tatmadaw-linked commercial entities from advertising on its platforms. The tech company had previously removed 20 military-linked individuals, including Commander-in-Chief Min Aung Hlaing, and organizations from the site in 2019 over severe human rights violations. All right, so what about China now? Are we going to step up and start putting China's propaganda down, or Russia's in this case, as they're out there protesting Navalny and their people are getting beaten down in the streets for not having permits to protest, right? So, I mean, this is good. This is a good thing, right? If you're going to start taking down, actual deadly violence, which is getting worse in Myanmar. The last couple of days have been people shooting, people dying, the military shooting the insurrectionists, and I don't know, right? And so they're gonna say that it's good. I'm gonna say that, yeah, fine, sure, but it's also a slippery slope, right? So there's a call for violence, a clear call for violence, and there's also not. All right, and so the distinction needs to be made and not politicized as usual. But here we go. Anyway, just something to think about, something to talk about. What we do. Let's go to sciencemag.org, and what do you know? What do you know? How about this? This is journals singled out for favoritism from scientific journals. What do you know? When Didier Raoult published several studies last year purporting to show the promise of the malaria drug hydroxychloroquine as a treatment for COVID-19, critics quickly denounced his methods. Raoult, a microbiologist for Aix-Marseille University, now faces disciplinary action by a French medical regulator, and the drug has largely been discredited as a COVID-19 treatment. But some researchers had other concern. Raoult's astonishingly prolific publication in the journal New Microbes and New Infections, where some of Raoult's collaborators serve as associate editors and editor-in-chief. Since the journal's creation in 2013, Raoult's name appeared in 1/3 of its 728 papers. Florian Naudet, a meta-scientist at the University of Rennes, wondered how common the pattern was. He and his colleagues teamed up with the University of Oxford psychologist Dorothy Bishop, who had developed a method to identify prolific authorship to explore its extent in the biomedical research literature. All right, so just for example, let's take this, and I'm not going to talk about hydroxychloroquine because I don't really care. But does it matter when we have scientific journals playing favoritism? And of course, right, as anybody knows, you spend a lot of your time doing research to get published in a scientific journal, and peer review and the whole thing. But if they're just kind of putting their boys up and saying, "Yep, this guy, whoever this guy is, deserves to be in the thing," for 1/3 of our damn journals, are you kidding me? Come on, really? Come on. Really? No. No, this is not good. This is not good. And again, right, trust the science. Trust the science. Trust the science. Quick word from our sponsor.
Are you digging the show? If so, you can support us quite easily and at no additional cost to you if you already have an Amazon Prime account. Since we stream on Twitch every day, all you have to do is link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and they give you free games on a monthly basis for your personal use, and also a bonus $5 a month to send to your favorite streamer as a way to bring more people to Twitch. And all you have to do is sync up the two accounts and click subscribe. Thanks for considering us.
All right, this is from creativegood.com, and I've seen this framed a few different ways now, which is funny. But as usual, we were talking about this back when Frank was on the show. How many years ago was that? Over a year ago, year and a half, probably. Let's see, year and a half. It's probably a year and a half now. It's been a long ass time. But we were talking about this way the hell back then. Okay, Amazon Ring is creating the surveillance complex. Yep. Amazon has launched an updated version of its Ring video doorbell, as reported in The Verge on February 24th, with a taller field of view and enhanced motion detection capabilities. This new camera can see a lot more from its perch at the front door, including head-to-toe images of whoever walks past. Gaze upon this new innovation as it quickly gazes back at you. There it is. There it is. You're looking at it. To The Verge's credit, one sentence is of its otherwise fawning review does mention that Ring has been criticized for its privacy policies and police partnerships over the past few years. Oh, you don't say. What The Verge does not mention is the major news story from a few days earlier, surely known to The Verge editors, that apparently was too negative to bring up. What happened is that police in Los Angeles asked Amazon to help access surveillance video from nearby residents' Ring doorbells to spy on Black Lives Matter protesters. Weird, right? Weird. And you think, when I say to you that crack down on any version of the political stuff will not eventually come back around to get you, right? If you are out there raising your fist in the air, saying, go get the other guys, go get the other political guys, look what happens. Look what happens. Of course, it's going to be used against you. It's at some point, if you use a particular technology to go get your political opposition, at some point they will use it against you. So people are so obtuse and so unbelievably short-sighted that they can't even see that by railing for more surveillance, more ways to dodge the Fourth Amendment of the unreasonable search and seizure laws, this is what they get, right? Defund the police, right? Well, guess what? If the Ring and Amazon just hands over the data, then you don't need a warrant, do you? You just maybe pick up the phone, you say, hey, we need the information, right? And then they're like, okay, cool. Here's the video. And you're like, okay, that's our guy, that's our gal, that's our whoever we're after. And then they don't have to actually even use that video in court because, of course, they couldn't because they didn't obtain it legally, right? So they would throw it out in court. But it doesn't matter because they got enough information to press their investigative resources at you from the information they got illegally. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter now. So they got you anyway. And whether they can use that video in court or not, you're screwed because now they're going to full court press on your ass, and you're the one, you're the perp, right? You're the one they're after because of a surveillance tech they shouldn't have access to. And yeah, we were talking about this a long ass time ago, and look, here we are. And why are people still installing these damn doorbells, these Ring doorbells? Why are we doing this? Really? There's no better way to do this with some sort of private sort of server situation? Of course there is, right? Of course there is, and it's even way less expensive than it's ever been. Well, it's not as convenient, is it? Convenience is the devil, is the downfall of civilization. Here we go. Let's see. So to understand why this is such a problem, consider the counterpoint. I imagine think tanks funded by big tech, plenty of them exist, would come to Amazon's defense by saying something like this, quote, "You're overreacting. All the police asked for was footage of a few protesters, and only where there was evidence of violence. Let's say 99% of the protesters were peaceful. Why is it bad to ask for an excerpt of footage of just a few who broke some windows? Yeah, a clever defense, right? It says, relying on sleight of hand to frame the question around cameras as though it's the very idea of recording footage that is under debate. What do you want to do? Ban all cameras? That horse is out of the barn. This article continues, but let's be clear. The problem isn't with cameras per se, nor the desire for security. Mom and pop stores have used security cameras for decades, capturing, say, a 12-hour window of footage before it's then recorded over and otherwise wiped the following day. Like I said, a private sort of server. This decentralized and limited use of surveillance technology provides security and a tool for law enforcement when necessary, but within strict boundaries so that it doesn't turn monstrous for the rest of us. I don't think I have to explain why this is bad. People with brains that can just take a leap of faith into the future about how bad we're getting with the surveillance type stuff and facial recognition, and then we've talked about heartbeat sensors with lasers that can detect your unique heartbeat signature, like a fingerprint. Right, the AI that can detect who you are through the way you walk, through your gait, and how you, walk or don't walk, or ramble or don't ramble. This is where we're headed, guys. And again, people, whoever out there has one of these things on their door, on their damn front of their door, really, for what? What they cost? $100, $150, $200, depending on when you bought them. You could get something similar that's like literally a private server, the same. Like we are responsible for this, and we're just allowing it to happen because we're just so stupid when it comes to this surveillance stuff that the police are in contact with Amazon, and Amazon's giving them the information, and blah blah blah. Like I said, you see, there's a huge chunk of bad stuff that could happen with this, and now they're using it. Right? They're using it, and they have been. I think that's the thing. They have been in local municipalities. We talked about it several times over the past couple of years. But, well, people still buying these damn things, putting them on their damn front doorstep. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of people with no brains, let's go here. Let's go to SciTech Daily. Memory without a brain. How a single-cell slime mold makes smart decisions. Weird. Weird. The ability to store and recover information gives an organism a clear advantage when searching for food or avoiding harmful environments. Traditionally, it has been attributed to organisms that have a nervous system. A new study authored by Myrna Kramer and Professor Karen Alim challenges this view by uncovering the surprising abilities of a highly dynamic single-celled organism to store and retrieve information about its environment. Yes, so the slime mold, this is a really big word, so I'm not going to say it because I'll just, I'll do this and I'll drink some coffee instead. So it gets pronounced properly.
The slime mold Physarum polycephalum has been puzzling researchers for many decades. Existing at the crossroads between the kingdoms of animals, plants and fungi, this unique organism provides insight into the early evolutionary history of eukaryotes, to which also humans belong.
There you go. That's how you say it. I'm not going to try and say it because, well, you know me. Anyway, so its body is a single cell made up of interconnective tubes that form intricate networks. This single amoeba-like cell may stretch several centimeters or even meters, featuring as the largest cell on Earth in the Guinness Book of World Records. So anyway, here we go. It is very exciting when a project develops from a simple experimental observation, says Karen Alim, head of the Biological Physics and Morphogenesis Group at MPIDS in Göttingen and professor for the theory of biological networks in the Technical University of Munich. There you go. You like my German? When the researchers followed the migration and feeding process of the organisms and observed a distinct imprint of a food source on the pattern of thicker and thinner tubes of the network long after feeding. So given that this thing is highly dynamic network reorganization, the persistence of this imprint sparked the idea that the network architecture itself could serve as a memory of the past, says Karen Alim. However, they first needed to explain the mechanism behind the imprint formation. As always, I encourage you to read this entire thing and the rest of this, the paper that this stuff came from. But what does this mean? Like, what the hell's going on with this? And I guess we don't need a brain after all, do we? We're just going to put those Ring doorbells right on our front porch and do our thing, and then complain when the cops know everything we're doing, right? Yeah. Well, so not only that, I don't have one, right? I don't have one on my front door, but I assure you most of my neighbors do. And so as a result of that, I'm being watched all the damn time because all my freaking neighbors have these stupid Ring doorbells. You see what's going on? See what's happening here? Yeah. So as a result, I am a surveillance, let's see, what would you call me? I am the proud owner of a surveillance state in my own home. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks, neighbors. Yeah. Here we go. Vox.com. Let's go to this. I'm telling you guys, the world we live in. Vox.com. What's your fair share of carbon emissions? You're probably blowing way past it. Now, this is great, right? Check this out. How the right to pursue happiness through unlimited consumption harms the planet and our kids. Sweet. Our liberty-loving way of life has landed us in an encircling moral maze, otherwise known as the climate crisis. Oh, you see. Liberty-loving is the opposite of the climate crisis. You see, they're saying it themselves right here. They're saying it themselves right here. This means certain of our cherished rights face a new test. While many are misled into imagining we can escape with minor tweaks to our normal lives, the science begs to differ. We have a very narrow window to collectively cut emissions or face a destabilized climate that will make life on Earth for most beings much more perilous. Fortunately, there is much we can do quickly to improve matters, but first we need moral clarity. Consider this simple question. Since we are all created equal, what would equal carbon rights look like? All right. So I'm going to just leave that there, and you guys can follow up on this. But I think the question is more important than the answer, because the answer here is, of course, going to be some kind of propaganda bullshit. I'll tell you that for sure, because it's this Vox. I already know where this is headed. But let me ask you this. So if there's an actual, fair share of carbon emissions, and Leo DiCaprio is jet-setting to bang supermodels, how many lifetimes of carbon emissions has that fool blown through? And not only that, why does nobody care? Look, I'll stop taking warm showers and drinking cold beer when these fools, the elites, the people with money, the politicians, all the people, again, right? Do as I say, not do as I do, right? This is not acceptable. Just like socialism. If you think you should give up half of everything you make and more, you first. You first. I'm with you, but you first. All right? Everybody wants to say somebody else do this, but nobody wants to do this themselves. And so in this case, right here, Leo DiCaprio, I'm talking to you. All the people that are running the government, I'm talking to you. All of the super rich, I'm talking to you. Because, of course, they blow through their fair share probably yearly by breakfast every damn day. So we're supposed to, again, not take warm showers or take less of them, drink less cold beer because of the refrigerant necessary to keep our beer cold, and these assholes are running around in private jets. Oh, I see. So it's not about liberty at all. It's about a liberty-tiered system is what it's about. It's about having money to pay your way out of these tickets, these snafus, right? No, this is a bunch of horse shit is what it is. Now, come on. Fine. You know me. I don't deny this stuff entirely. I just think that the way they politicize it is trash. It's trash. There you go. Quint says, I think my methane emissions far exceed my carbon. There you go. Pull my finger, buddy. Back to my silent but deadly joke. All right, let's finish this up. A couple more. This is from Forbes.com. And yeah, so again, right? So you have Earth-conscious people that are concerned about their carbon footprints. And now we're having a discussion about liberty and your fair share. And basically, the only difference is if you jack up the price of it, let's go to Texas, what happened recently, and some of those people that got $10,000 electric bills for a week of power because for some reason they were allowed to have power, but other people weren't, right? So the market does its thing, and then they got screwed, right? To not freeze their pipes for a very basic thing, right? So now it's the same thing with this. It's just the opposite. If you have money, you just pay your way out of the mess and you're good to go, right? You pay the ticket, you pay the fines, and you just keep jet setting to bang supermodels. Yeah, no, that ain't right. Forbes.com reports this. Robot dog wars. How Spot's rampage gets it wrong and the armed robots you need really to worry about. Oh, yeah. This is from David Hambling. This guy's great. Aerospace and defense contributor. He writes for Forbes and some other ones. But here we go. The performance artwork called Spot's Rampage is the work of the internet provocateurs MSCHF. They acquired a 74,000 Spot robot dog from Boston Dynamics and set it up that from Wednesday, anyone can log in to shoot up scenery for 2 minutes. I didn't know that. I'm going to have to check that out. Let's get some 2-minute scenery. The dog armed with a paintball gun. I'm going to link this too. So I haven't actually gone and followed up on all this yet, but here we go. Here we go. You can do this and check this stuff out. This is pretty cool stuff. But here we go. So while many Boston Dynamics early projects were carried out with military funding, the company announced the sale of robots to the military, which was required by Google X in 2013 and pivoted to the commercial market. The robot dog Spot and the dancing android Atlas are not going to be drafted into anyone's military soon. In short, these are not the droids you're looking for. There you go, the Star Wars line. Ironically, Spot's rampage probably only exists because of the post-apocalyptic 2017 Black Mirror episode Metalhead, in which armed robot dogs hunt down human survivors. Weird. The scenario was inspired by one of the writers thinking the Boston Dynamics demonstrations look creepy. It is not even an original misunderstanding. So anyway, blah, 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 blah. So clearly, let's see. Quadruped robots look like a convenient way of carrying sensors across terrain, too tough for wheels and tracks, jumping ditches, and even climbing fences. Given the need for recharging, they may be more useful in factories or on building sites and in mines than on the battlefield. Moral outrage directed at them because they look creepy is simply misguided and based on a lack of understanding of the real issues, says David Hambling. Great guy. I don't know that I agree entirely. He covers a lot of this stuff. If you actually look at his, check this out. I'm going to link this because I get a lot of my stuff from him, because just go and scroll down and read the stuff this guy's talking about. And you get this, and you get tons of stuff. Robot dogs, U.S. Marines test ultra-destructive new military round. Pentagon gives a glimpse of Special Forces secret hand jammer drone. U.S. Navy seeks bulletproof survival suits for aircrew. So there's like he has just a huge amount of archive and articles where he talks about DARPA, things like this, right? So very, very pertinent to what we're talking about. It's technology on the battlefield. It's all this other stuff, but he's a great resource. Again, I lean on him from time to time when I'm looking for some stuff that kind of fits the bill, and he definitely is on top of that game. So David Hambling at Forbes.com. Check him out. Definitely good shit. I just dropped his link there, and we're good to go. One last one, and we're going to finish this up. If anybody wants to be part of the show, you know what to do. 702-957-1037. And this has been Conspiracy News. And I'm Michael Strange, and we get together and talk about this stuff from time to time. That's what happens. Let's see. Now let's go here. Let's get that up. Make sure everything's right. Yes, everything is right. Everything is right. I got a new puppy, and the puppy is driving me insane because it's one of those puppies that's like 5 months old, and it's like a rescue. She needed a home. I wasn't ready for a dog yet. I had 2 dogs die in the past year, and it was just horrific. I hate it. But I have a little puppy now, and she bit the shit out of me, and she's got razor sharp teeth, and she has absolutely no manners, like they do, and it's I'm sure I will love her soon, but holy crap, she's a pain in my ass right now. Anyway, let's go to this. Anomalien. I don't know how to say this. Again, guys, if you're going to make a website, make sure you can say the damn name, okay? Anomalien. Anybody know how to pronounce that? Anyway, stoned and burned. In Congo, a crowd destroyed a mysterious monolith. Yes. Earlier, we wrote about strange monoliths that appear in different parts of the world. Another such mysterious object was discovered by the inhabitants of Africa. People were so scared that they immediately destroyed it. The Africans threw stones at the monolith 3.7 meters high and then burned it. According to citizens, the object is associated with the devil. The find itself was made in the Bandal area, B-A-N-D-A-L, Bandal. Rumors about the mystical origin of the object spread quickly. Some believe that the monolith was abandoned by aliens. According to a resident, they actually took the video down here already. According to the resident Serge Ifulu, absolutely everyone was amazed. The design had a triangular shape, and it was often associated with Masons and the Illuminati. To find out what is hidden inside, the inhabitants first smashed the monolith, throwing stones at it, and when they found out that the structure was hollow, they simply set fire to it. There you go. There you go. Some places, well, people go out and take pictures, and it turns into a tourist trap. Other places, they just burn that MFer down. And, well, God bless them, because this monolith stuff, just stop it. Just stop it. The only one to me that was intriguing was the first one, because it was sat there for so long and nobody noticed. And why the hell was it there, right? But then all the copycats, come on, let it be. All right, we're done. So again, we're winding down. This is season 1, the end of season 1 of this show, which is Conspiracy News with Michael Strange. And this is episode 47. Tomorrow we will do episode 48 at the same time. And then we'll do 49 and 50 next week on Sunday and Monday again. So then that will be the end of season 1. Take a few weeks off, and then we'll come back and then start season 2 with season 2, episode 1. 50 is a good run. 50 is a good run for this. And like I said, it's hard to stay away when you're doing this, because if you do, you just miss the news, and there's a lot of really crazy stuff to talk about. So that's what's up. Burn it down, anomalian.com. Anyway. You guys in the chat, you're funny. Okay, all right, here we go. Now we're finished. So we're going to play an outro, some music, and we're going to say thank you to the people that have subbed up to the channel. As you know, as I've played a couple times, this show is sponsored by you guys, and so I appreciate it a lot. There are bills to pay for the show, and getting out of the red for this, it would be fantastic. So I appreciate everybody who's kicked in, even a penny. And I appreciate everybody who listens to this show, because that's the most important thing. Listening to the show, spreading the word, and letting other people know that there's a place to talk about interesting things without trying to shit on each other. You just don't have to do that. But here we go. Let's play this and play the outro and play the things. And this is thank you to these folks. Thank you to the folks that have subbed up to the channel and supported the show. Special thanks to Tam Bam and Penny, which are still not on this list because I'm juggling too many things. But I don't forget to mention them every time, so they will be on this list. Everybody else on this list is subbed up to the channel here. If you want to contribute, that's how you do it. Click the subscribe button. This show is funded directly by a decentralized freedom squad that answers only to ourselves. Corporate and political interests can jump off. AJ Dare, Alien Nichan, Arc Platinum, Axel Steel 3, Dark Devious, FGC Spiral, Guerdo 75, Ident, Lizzie Dags, Monochromatic, Nikki Nix, Noble Kal-El, Often Frozen, Quint 67, Super Vike 1, and Satan Claus. Thank you to those folks. Also, special thanks to Bailey and Mr. Ark for throwing out gift subs. Thank you to Noble Kal-El and Dwayne Dibley and Bailey for boosting the Discord channel. And thank you to everybody for showing up and being here and being enthusiastic about the show and all the support. You guys make it easy to do. Thank you so much. Hang tight. The bad news is we're done. The good news is, God willing, we'll be back tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific, to do episode 48 as we wind down season 1 of Conspiracy News. Stay safe. Be good to yourself so you can be good to others. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great afternoon.